Hey everybody, welcome back to Ravenstead. It's time for another build. Going to continue with our Scrubland terrain. I'm going to take a piece of 1/2 inch foam here and use a hot wire cutter, cut out the base. This is going to be a border wall, so I'm going to build up a little rocky structure here in the corner and then attach the walls coming out of either end. I'll hot glue this little thing up. I'm using alternating layers of 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch foam just to continue on with that striated rocky look that I've got in the other terrain in this biome. I'm going to use a craft knife here. I don't cut myself, so don't worry about that. And the real key to getting these pieces to look kind of organic and natural is a lot of beveling and then also changing levels. So I'll carve out little areas like this one where the the height changes. I'm going to use a brass brush here to scratch the edges of the foam. Again, trying to improve that rocky look. A little bit of aluminum foil rolled up in a ball. That gives a nice pebbly surface to the factory surfaces of that foam. You got to do something to hide that. And then cutting in a little bit of variation in those layers, just adding interest and maintaining that texture throughout the piece. And we'll go ahead and start adding in our walls. I cut out some 1 by 2 centimeter pieces and then 1 centimeter square pieces. And then I've got a couple longer ones in there that I can use to trim in if I have a piece that needs to be custom fit. So I am using hot glue here. A lot of times folks like to use the white glue for this, and that's fine. It just slows your build down just a little bit. But here with the hot glue, if you don't get too far ahead of yourself, you can really lay those blocks down quickly, and then you've got time to straighten those out before the glue hardens. A little simple wall. Gonna have to have a ladder here to get on top of that stone tower. I made these lumber pieces by just taking flat pieces of foam and scratching them with the brass brush. Get a layer of Mod Podge and black paint on here. That'll help to kind of stiffen everything up, protect the surface of the foam, make it a little bit more durable, and then it gives us our nice shadows. So once that piece is all coated out, we'll do our dry brushing. I'm going to start out with a medium brown, and that goes over everything. So if you were doing like a gray stone area, like some of my earlier videos, you just change your palette. Don't be afraid to change up your palette too. Use some bright colors. Because you can always go in and dull those things down using washes. Or you know what? You can just repaint the whole thing. If you don't like what you've done, don't scrap it. Just keep moving forward. And when in doubt, just black it out with that Mod Podge and just keep going. It's a pretty forgiving hobby. So I'm just changing colors, kind of keeping that striated look. I've picked out a few of the stones in different colors, as if they were quarried from different areas. That's very bright paint. That's terracotta. Looks very orange going on at first, but then once we get our not our dry brushes, our washes on there, that kind of evens out. So you just kind of trust the process. Here's a light tan. I'm using this as a final highlight. This really picks out all the edges and all the highlights and really establishes the shadows in the piece too. And that'll go over the whole terrain as well. And once I get that over everything, I like to go in with a very bright color, even the same color with a clean brush or even a lighter tan, and just hit the edges there. That really makes them shine. And I decided this was looking a little frosty, so I went in with a little bit more of that terracotta and just kind of touched it here and there. And that'll shine through once we get the washes on and the piece dries. Can't forget our ladder. A little medium brown, a light brown, and then that tan color. And then we'll add some flocking to that as well, give it a little bit of character. Can't forget our rotten plank. Put some washes on this piece. The first one is burnt umber acrylic ink mixed with water. I use a 50-50 mix, Add a little jet dry in there to keep it from bubbling, and lets it flow across the piece as well. And that's going to go all over everything. And this is a really important step here in the washes, to use that burnt umber. It really dulls the whole piece down and kind of homogenizes all those different tones. Putting a little bit of green wash in here. So this represents a transitional biome from grassland to desert. So we still have a little bit of green vegetation here and there. That's some Vallejo rust wash. I just put that on the piece wet and then kind of dab it around, get it where I want it. The ladder's looking pretty good. We'll end up gluing that on later on. I went out in the yard and grabbed a little bit of lichen. That's a stick. I just had some lichen growing on it. Run it through the coffee grinder there, and now I've got some ready-made moss. That's going to be the rotten rung. So as your characters are crawling up that ladder, you could always have them make a skill check, see if that rung breaks. I like to add little details like that to my terrain. Just gives me the opportunity when I'm running a Dungeons and Dragons game or something like that, that I can challenge the players a little bit. It's the little details. I decided to put some of that new flocking on. I did add a little bit of white preserved lichen into that mix, just to lighten it up a little bit. Kind of makes it sprinkle a little better too. So I'm putting on there pretty liberally, but it'll just stick to those little glue areas. You got to make sure that the piece is dry, like you're painting in your washes, otherwise this stuff will stick to everything. There we go. That's just little details. Kind of brings the piece to life. We're going to plant some shrubs in here. The first piece that I did of the Scrubland series, I showed how I make these little brushes. They're jute fiber with a little bit of hot glue to make the stem that I put down into that hole. We'll put those here and there. A little bit of preserved lichen in there just to splash a green color. We're almost done with this piece. One little more bush in there, I think, and then we'll glue the ladder on. I wanted the ladder to touch the table, so I did this kind of flat. I know it's hard to see, but I like making those transitions between terrain and gaming table. Like it kind of all ties it in together. Well, let me give you a closer look. Here it is. The Scrubland border. Now I left the ends of the stonework open so I can match up another piece so it can be, in a sense, modular. Got that rotten rung on there. So it's always a good advantage to high ground. Got to make sure our characters can get up there. There it is, matched up with the previous piece I just finished, the abandoned mine. I've got a Kickstarter coming out. I'd love for you guys to check it out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Thanks for watching another video. Leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.